Stress. Okay, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that stress affects our cycles, whether it's good or bad, really. And I think that's an important distinction to make. So when I say good stress versus bad stress, good is something like a wedding that you're planning, or something that might be good, but it's still affecting your body because you're still stressed out. So just to make sure that we're clear, here's some examples of stress that can affect our periods. Sickness, strenuous activity, change of job, moving, bereavement, major decisions, holidays, visiting relatives, travel, weddings, exams, and so forth. Typically, when we think about how stress affects our cycles, our periods, is that we think of it as just missing a period. It's a little bit more than that. But this type of thing does not pose a problem for the user of the Creighton Model system because they got it all figured out. When you're charting with the Creighton Model system, you're very familiar with cervical mucus and what your particular cervical mucus looks like. The cervical mucus that we see around the time of ovulation is very characteristic. The individual woman is able to recognize that pretty well. So the first thing that we can do is, as we start to recognize the signs, say that is when stress is introduced, we might notice things start to change a little bit. Like it's not our usual type of mucus. At this point, your spouse and you start to work together. Well, you're always working together, but particularly now. And he's gonna help you to figure this out, to where you can really start looking back, hey, am I under stress right there? It's basically a conversation that the Creighton Model system will help to guide you through during those times. But you know to be alert. Maybe I'm having something called what we call a double peak. Okay, so this is kind of cool because we understand that it's probably a protection mechanism within our bodies. Because if we're under stress, it's probably not the best time to get pregnant. So our estrogen level starts to rise, we see the mucus, stress is introduced, and the body's like, hold up, I'm not in a great place to be pregnant right now. I'm not feeling very healthy, so let's hold off on this. And so the mucus cycle begins to stop, but we haven't ovulated yet. Typically, it's not until that stress is relieved that the estrogen is able to come back, produce some more cervical mucus, and actually complete ovulation. That's pretty cool if you think of it that way. And this could take weeks or just days or a while. But if you're charting with the Creighton Model system, you're familiar with this, you understand how your body works, and you're able to identify if you're in a stress level where it's gonna prolong your period or prolong ovulation. And you still know to be paying attention for when the actual point of time of ovulation is going to arrive. This is particularly helpful if you're stressed and you're trying to avoid or achieve a pregnancy. The Creighton Model system still works because you know how to identify those times. In a study of 564 menstrual cycles, the incidence of double peak, that's what we call this, was 7.8%. This incidence was lower in women with regular cycles, makes sense, and higher in women coming off birth control pills, breastfeeding women, and women with irregular cycles. Another thing that's just really helpful to know when you're trying to manage your fertility in a natural way, but also to just understand how our systems work and understand that our bodies do have built-in protection mechanisms that help us to live healthier and to understand what's going on a little bit more. I hope this is helpful to you. If you're interested in more, follow me on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, you can find a Creighton Model practitioner nearest you by going to www.fertilitycare.org.